Okay, so we're finally caught up in ninth grade. I believe it's the ninth grade year. No, because I had become friends with this girl. She has a really good name, a really pretty name, but I'm not going to use her real name out of respect. Her name's Ashley. And she invited me to her birthday party. It wasn't very many people, but I believe it was um, her cousin. I'm going to call him Vinny. Um, Vinny also had a profound effect on my childhood, or not my childhood, my adolescent years, I will say. So keep in mind, this is the Brett era. However, Brett and I at this point had been going off and on and off and on. It was a game to him. Um, and I would do it. He would say things like, I'll call back in 5 minutes, and I would sit there and stare at my phone all 5 minutes. Um, I remember I would go on walks intentionally without my phone because I hoped if I distracted myself by the time I got home, he'd have responded or called me or something. And he never usually had. Um, but at this point, I was at this party and I met this boy named Vinny. And I thought he was really cute. Immediately, I thought he was really cute. I think we really hit it off. And we were talking. Um, I found out that he was a couple years younger than me, and we started texting regularly. And um, I met his parents. His parents were very sweet. Apparently, he told me a few years ago that they still talk about me, but I don't know. I wasn't really myself yet. But Vinny really had a profound effect on me because we were so young and the timing wasn't right. Um, and it could have been something good, I think, but he kind of like wove in and out of my life throughout high school, throughout my adult life. We still talk occasionally, but it's at the time really it was like, wow, this guy is something special. um, and he had kind of a rougher family life, um, which made me feel less alone. Uh, But we tried to date, and it only lasted a couple weeks. I think the reason I don't remember why. I think, he had gotten back with his ex-girlfriend or something. I don't know. But it ended there, and I remember being devastated, but being too afraid to vocalize anything beyond, oh, that's okay, I understand. Um, More on him later. But finally, I'm through my freshman year, I've made friends, I've dressed feminine, I'm cute. I've always just kind of assumed nobody would know what I looked like or recognized me, which is wild, because obviously I had a face and it doesn't make sense that nobody would ever recognize me or pay attention to me. I would dress in these pretty dresses and I don't know, somewhere between that, like over the summer between ninth and 10th grade, something changed in me, and the blonde head went away, and all the fashion colors with it. And I started dressing darker. I started wearing black. I had my hair, I had a black peekaboo with like brown hair. Um, and I befriended this guy. Um, and what do I want to call him? He ended up being my high school sweetheart. Um, we'll call him Ray. Yeah, we'll call him Ray. Um, Ray, again, felt like a match made in heaven. Ray was the first person I ever really truly fell in love with. Um, Ray and I laughed a lot. We hung out a lot. He was silly. He was goofy. Um, and he had issues with his dad, so he also understood what it was like to have an unhappy home life. However, as time went on, because Ray and I were together a few years, as time went on, things became harder for me because I was feeling safer, which is something I hadn't felt before. And in that brief moment of safety, the worst version of me started coming out again. The clinginess, the validation, the need to feel pretty, the I was so many things, and I always wanted to spend every moment with him because every moment with him was not with my family. Um, Obviously, this got to be a lot for a while, and then towards the end of it, I probably didn't mention it, but I really liked singing. I still sing, but it's leisurely things, but especially then. And towards the end of it, he would tell me how like suffocating I was, how overbearing. He would turn the music up when I sang. I remember for our 1 year anniversary, he got me a wallet, an Adventure Time wallet, because we had watched that together, and I had gotten a custom made gold bracelet with his nickname on it. Um, and I remember just feeling so disappointed and like I did too much and like I'm too much and like I didn't deserve to be alive. Like I just took up too much space. All these people kept telling me I took up too much space. I was too much and it really stuck with me. And so I remember prom night with him. One of my favorite memories with him, I got him a dozen donuts and the note that I wrote was I do not want to go to prom this year. You want to watch Harry Potter. And so on the night of prom, or the day of prom, I should say, we started on the first Harry Potter movie and we made it all the way to the very last one. And that was a great prom. Um, so I had a group of friends. Um, three of them really stuck out. Um, I'll call one of them Lori, one of them Annie, and one of them Rena. Now, Rena was very similar to me. She had a very tragic backstory, so we kind of latched on to each other. Um, And she was really spiritual. So she kept saying, like, it's our destiny. We're going to spend the rest of our lives best friends. I'm always going to love you. You're always going to be this thing to me. You're going to be my twin flame, the perfect puzzle piece to complete my life. Um, Annie was Arabic. Arabic. Sorry, my brain lagged. Arabic. Um, gotta have Diet Coke, sorry. But she was like the sweeter, she appealed to the sweeter, softer version of me. We created a board game together for English class, and I loved her so much. And I still have a painting that she created in the ninth grade that she gave to me, hung on my wall, and it will always be hung on my wall. Um, but she disappeared off the face of the earth a few years ago. Um, so, Annie, if you ever see this, I know you're going to know who you are, and I hope you know how much I miss you um, every single day. Lori and I had really bonded over the sophomore year. We would work out together. We would, like in gym class, she was my walk-in buddy. We would always laugh and goof around, and I loved her too. I really did. I loved her so much. The three of them made me feel like I finally had a friend group that cared about me for me. Um, Towards the end, Ray, it was discovered that Ray had texted this admittedly more promiscuous girl, not that there's anything wrong with that, and asked her to partake in sexual behavior between both of us without my consent. Um, I don't remember much else beyond that. I remember being crushed though. I remember um, hearing that they had talked about the things that maybe they would do. Um, of course, our friend group found out because she was adjacent to the friend group, and everybody turned on him. They hated him. They scrutinized him. He was outcast, and I was the one to step in and defend him and tell them to treat him better, to be kind to him. Um, Even though our relationship was rocky at that point, we kept going. Um, so that's the story on Ray at this point. I'm sure I'm gonna have more snippets of memories and stuff come up that I'll share randomly, but I'm really gonna stick to the chronological order of things, I hope. So that's all I got for now. Let's keep it under the 10 minutes exactly.